upside down cat. Upside down cat.
Ah, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology football chair.
What is it?
E to the mu du dx. E to the x dx. Cosine secant secant sine 3.14159. Integral radical mu dv. Slipstick slide rule MIT.
I like to see him. That's why I cried. I can chop off my legs, but I need him to get home. Open up a bowling alley next to the garage. Crazy stuff, crazy polka. Are you shitting me, polka?
Oh yeah.
I got it.
It's all that. Pleased to meet you in the basement.
Hi, Dave.
Hi, Dave.
That's good times. Are you off the board?
Durian belong with the tea?
Tropical fruit delivery.
Farm raised on.
And look,
brains!
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you everybody for watching. I am Jeff and I stand before you today to celebrate and honor a music legend, a friend, a family member, an all-around excellent human being. Erik Bassman Weber. In a year where we lost a lot of celebrities like Chadwick Boseman, Kobe Bryant, Regis Philbin, John Lewis, Kelly Preston, Nick Cordero, Little Richard, Kenny Rogers, Charlie Daniels, I felt Erik needed a proper send-off and a place in that world because he's a celebrity to me. For those who didn't know Erik passed away on June 2nd, 2020, amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Pancreatic cancer was his final battle, a rare and aggressive cancer that takes most of its victims. No one could go visit with him in the hospital due to the pandemic, but he was able to call lots of people and give some final farewells. He was blessed to be able to make those calls. Although it was frustrating not to be able to see him, we all knew the person he loved the most, the person he lived for, the person he vowed to love for eternity, not till death do us part, but eternity. We all knew his wife Katya was by his side and that she would be there every second. Besides setting up our band in the hospital room, I think she was all he ever needed. So, from me and speaking for all of Bassman's friends, thank you, Katya, for being there and giving him his best desired life. In Erik and Katya's honor, get your beverage of choice, smoke of choice, or whatever your method, and cheers. Erik was many things for many people. For some, he was a D&D map and story builder, and lots of fun to play the game with. He hand-painted and reimagined many figurines. He did pottery, enjoyed a good poetry reading. He painted. He built his own operating system for a computer. He built a coin-operated movie machine. He also made a lot of short films. I'll put some of those links in the description. They're really good. His ability to get people to show up was amazing. Scripts were always ready and shots were organized, and generally there was much fun to be had. Minimal equipment and tons of heart. He was a great guy. He truly was Santa Claus at Christmas time, Erik and Katya would always make sure everyone had a gift, food, drink, fun, and a chair at the table. Even when there was a last-minute addition to the guest list, it was as if they were always expecting extras. They meant a lot to my kids and their friends, and those kids learned a lot from their time with Erik and Katya. After Erik had passed, we spoke to the kids who had met him to let them know. They were all teenagers, and they all spoke really positive things they had learned during their moments at Erik and Katya's home. And by the way, the VHS room is a hit. You got to keep that going. And of course, they were sad. Bassman hitchhiked from Connecticut to California in the 80s. And he got a view and respect for humanity that I guess can't be replicated. Erik also built some amazing instruments using recycled instrument parts. I speak of the Git Joe and the stand-up Bass Joe. They're banjo-inspired bass and guitar using old snare drum bodies, blocks of wood from an old tree that he loved, wood from an original piece of the stairs at his house, and various other recycled instrument parts. Let's listen to the Bass Joe from a Christmas recording we made in July, because I wanted to do it. And he dug out all his Christmas decorations early so I could make this video. Let's check it out for a second. The Bass Joe sounds amazing. It's an amazing instrument. It should be considered a piece of folk art. It's a wonderful thing. Bassman also saved an 1890s parlor guitar, made it playable again, and he fixed or improved cellos, violins, guitars, basses, so my daughter and her friends would have working instruments to learn on. All that he fixed and rehabbed are still playing, and he could also play all those instruments. So if you knew him, you know what I'm talking about. He was a very well-rounded man of the arts and also very analytical. He had a knack for engineering and building things. I spent 5 years at Bassman and Katya's house 2 nights a week for dinner and playing music. Sometimes with a singer, sometimes without. He would always check in on my health and well-being, in private of course, very respectfully. He cared. John B., myself, and Bassman were a trio. We played and recorded thousands of hours of music over 20 years, mostly in a basement, at least half of it on old cassette tapes. Our last project was Safety Precautions, which Bassman quickly pointed out that I had spelled it Safety. So much for spell check on my end. I thought that was funny. I decided at one point to learn guitar and sing. Well, now I can bang out a nice E chord, maybe a couple others. I wrote a bunch of songs, and much of it was due to John and Bassman's encouragement, patience, tips and tricks, and even criticism, which was actually requested by me. Bassman told me once, just play the song no matter what. Stay with the beat. Whatever happens, just keep playing the song. Everyone will find each other, and when it's over, that'll be that song in that moment. That's the key to a good jam, if I do say so myself. He always had a mellow, polite way about my requested critiques. Like I would be jamming on guitar, he'd play along with me the whole time, After I'd tire of it or stop, he would politely try to show me some other chords besides the E, or he'd try and get me to play slide guitar or something a little easier, like for me. Maybe that's not easier, but when he would critique my Han Solo songs, a band where I play all the instruments, and then I add lyrics to like previous jams, or I play all the instruments and create my songs,
she had a suitcase in her hand. She had a hat up on her
he would say things, and I remember my favorite was, it was excellent. You almost got the notes on some of those vocals. Instead of telling me I was out of tune, which I generally am. He was and is correct, and to this day I try my best to hit the proper notes, because I know he's listening. John B., myself, and Erik played for 20 years as a trio, with and without singers. I've been inspired and gained more confidence in myself knowing both of them. I feel connected to Bassman in a way I can't describe. I guess it's a rhythm section thing. Being connected to someone on a music level for that long can't escape you, and I don't need it to leave. I feel like John has that same connection. So for me and his eclectic group of friends involved in all of those things, thank you, Bassman. Cheers. So many of you maybe didn't know him, and you're watching this and you're wondering, how is this guy a music legend? He wasn't a hugely popular, bass player. He wasn't in big bands, no gold records. I can't Google him. There's no Wikipedia. Well, let me tell you why I think Erik Bassman Weber and about 1 billion other musicians are music legends. If you're watching this, think about the people who surround your life. Somewhere in there is a person learning for the first time. There's another one rehearsing for the gig on a Wednesday at the local pub or restaurant. There's another one gearing up to spend their little bit of savings to go on a DIY tour. There's another jamming a simple riff with the kids, letting them feel what it's like to play in a group. There's your neighbor or relative you don't understand why they insist to still play. Why won't they give up the rock and roll dream? They gotta play every week, my goodness. Hopefully you get my point. But everybody in this world is connected to somebody who plays music on a non-monetary, non-profit level. And while many don't understand that, many people do. As you progress in life and get older, it's incredibly hard to still be dedicated to your instrument. For instance, as a drummer, it's extremely difficult and expensive to maintain your gear, let alone have a space to set up, get loud. If you live in an apartment, it's almost impossible. The answer can be a lot of things, but in the end, my belief is that people do it for their soul, their mental stress release, and well-being. Love of creation. In the moment of performance, it can be very satisfying for one's mentals. And it can inspire the younger generation to maybe find their reason to play. So many think that playing music is a business, and if you don't make millions, you're no good. I once met an older guy who was a custodian in Seattle. We were talking music because I was wearing a Fender shirt. He was proud of his guitars and loved playing. When I asked who he played with, he said, well, mostly by himself and a bunch of nobodies, and that he felt like a failed guitarist. I paused for a minute, and, I'm kind of the same way, and I told him, you didn't fail. You just didn't get picked for fame. It's hard to get picked if you're not connected or right place, right time. So many factors. Don't be so hard on yourself. Not everyone was given the ability to play music. So you're lucky. And I'm not just talking about guitar players. I'm talking about drummers, guitarists, horns, string sections, beatboxers, keyboards, percussion, marching, classical, punk, metal, ska, jazz, R&B, doo-wop, acoustic, electric, whatever kind of music you play. So to be able to withstand pressures of life, family, work, making a living, etc., and still find a way to rock your instrument or craft whenever you can, even if the cat and the dog or the rat in the wall are your only audience, that is a legendary musician to me. If you are one of those people, or you know one of them, this is part of their being, who they are. It's not easy. Some were put here to make a living from it, some do it to feel alive, or all of the above. And without these people, it'd be a pretty boring world. I think the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame should have an unknown musician exhibit to celebrate all the past, present, and future musicians with no fame, no fortune, who are dedicated to their instruments for their whole lives. So in honor of Erik Bassman Weber and the billion other unknown and known rock and roll legends around the world, for those who never stopped, we salute you. I salute you. You're all legends to me. Cheers. I'd like to wrap up with a poem I wrote, followed by a moment of silence for the bass toll. It's called Comfort in Death. Gotta find comfort now that you're gone. Can't give up, gotta move on. Your electric vibe resonates my soul. What you left behind helps make me whole. We say goodbye, but it's really hello. You're part of all of us, wherever we go. Our hearts and homes have a bottomless hole. In your honor, I need you to know. Dreams and rainbows and pots of gold are things that never change, even when you grow old. Such is the same, there's friendship and love, even if only shared from above. Erik Bassman Weber, we love you and miss you, but most of all, thank you for everything.
Goes out to all the people. All the people that got love in their heart. All the lovers and the sinners alike. So smoke it up. Smoke the peace of life.
Thank you everyone for watching in honor of Bassman. Go grab your instrument, grab your favorite album, get the barbecue going, get loud. Think about your favorite musician or person or a legend in your life. Most of all, have fun and check out some of the links below. There's some free MP3 downloads, some of Bassman's movie links, and a couple other things. Thank you again for watching. Please be safe.
Freedom to be soft, but to live in the land, live in the land of freedom is the prize we pay for. They kill us and they say it's all bad, and the reason we all have are. One thing I can tell you from the bottom of my heart, is love is the path we must take. Not war, it's not pain, it's not life, it's no pain. They don't give us the cover they are for. There's to be God, there's a dream to be had, there's a cause to evolve, there's another cloud. Standing going around, there's honors to be found, there's a sickness and a night. Freedom to be told, cause we live in a land, jail is the man, freedom is the prize we pay for. They give us a hand and say, hey, it's all right, that's the reason we all have are. There's one thing I can tell you from the bottom of my heart, love is the path we must take. The war is not pain, it's not life, it's not pain. They don't give us the cover they are for. There's a dream to be had, there's a call to evolve, there's a righteous path that is going around, there's honors to be found, there's a snake at the top. Make a soul life! We live in a land, jail is a land, and freedom is the prize we give them. They give us a hand and say, faith is our man, and the reason we all have are. One thing I can tell you from the bottom of